34 million, whatever that number is. Have you resolved that with the Speaker?
Not yet. It's over in the House as well as the capital budget. So the capital budget has to pass. I'm not sure when, and they know that. So when it passes, so will our
If they don't
appropriation.
do that now, are you putting projects in jeopardy because you added this extra
I'm not
spending?
putting projects in
Well,
jeopardy.
I
The
mean,
bill,
are
the bill's
projects-
over in the House.
Are the projects in jeopardy if they don't?
Read the bill. The bill's over in the House. They should read it.
But on that, House lawmakers have said that with the extended lapse period time, that those projects could still get funded at the end of the year, and you can come back and veto them.
That's their interpretation. We think you should pass the capital bill with the additional appropriations. It's certainly still way under the amount of money that we know is going to be coming in next year. That's really important. We passed not just a balanced budget. We're not just spending less money than we're taking in. We have actually spent or appropriated less than will come in. So we have extra money to help pay down our bills.
How engaged is Governor Quinn really? He's pretty much disappeared from public view. Are we to believe that he's working feverishly behind the scenes?
He certainly has. The Speaker and I have met with him today. His staff has been working very hard. We have a number of pieces of legislation that has the governor's imprint. The workers' comp bill itself was something that Mike McRae did an excellent job. The difference this year with regard to the budget is that the governor introduced a budget that was over, it was out of balance. Normally, governors introduce balanced budgets and the legislature over appropriates. This time it was the opposite. So that's a difference this year. But, you know, and I would say that it was part of his own making because he introduced didn't introduce a balanced budget. So other than that, I mean, the governor's, of course, very relevant, and now is the time he's even more relevant because he has to consider whether to veto or mandatory veto or sign bills.
Well, what's the Speaker told you about the $430 million?
Well, it's over there. He hasn't passed it yet, so, but he also hasn't passed the capital bill. So, once again, it's under review. Have you ever talked to the Speaker?
Yeah,
Why
all the
was
time.
the congressional map?
It's early. It's early. It's only a
Why
quarter
was the
to 8.
congressional map changed to move Shimkus and Johnson around?
The congressional map, I hope you noticed that I spoke about it on the floor because I was here 10 years ago when we had 1 hour to pass a map that was drafted by all the incumbents except for one. That map that we passed is so much more compact, splits fewer counties, and as far as any individual district, I don't think I want to address it. I'm sure people will be wanting to file lawsuits and take my words, and I'll tell you this, the DCCC is very happy with the fact that it's a very fair map.
How does Mayor Emanuel's election change the dynamic in Springfield? We've already seen him very involved on.
Oh yes, the mayor has been very active in working on the education reform bill, and very active working on the budget as it relates to Chicago, and as well as the gaming bill.
Does this legislative-driven budget hurt it at all now that it goes to the governor, and that all we've gotten from him is that he doesn't like the decreases in spending for, say, education? Has he elaborated at all in
Well,
your discussions?
obviously, the one power that the legislature has is to authorize spending, and if we don't authorize it, he can't spend it. We can't force him to spend it once we authorize it, but and when you under-appropriate what the governor wants, he can't mandatorily veto it up.
But
So,
if you give it
so we're
allocation-
limiting the amount of money he can spend because we want to have a balanced budget and we want to help pay some of our old bills.
Has he ever suggested that he might call a special session if he's
No.
unhappy with this budget?
No.
Mr. President, who
Can I
drew
ask
the
about
maps?
smart grid?
Who drew the congressional maps and the legislative maps? I mean, we keep hearing that question asked in the House and the Senate, but nobody seems to have any names. Can you tell us who they are?
We have staff that works on the map. We had individual members that, you know, indicate, that look at the map because it's a bill that has to be voted on. But most of the map is really driven by the Voting Rights Act. And there's a lot of considerations. We took testimony. I think we had at least 23 hearings throughout the state, and we incorporated a lot of those suggestions into the maps, as well as hearings after it was made public. I know you guys are impressed with the fact we put it on Google Earth. We've got calls from Google saying this is going to be the national model. So I think we were so much more transparent than it's been in the past, so I'm really very proud of the process.
Can you tell us the names of who the staff was? Was it, you know, David Ellis and Eric Nadeer, or I mean, who was actually drawing?
I'm not going to tell you the names of the staff that we have employed, working on. I would say the legislators are the ones that voted for the map, and they're the ones that, at least we introduced the map much earlier than the Republicans did, and we made it much more transparent as well.
Who called